Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Medical Assistant. My name is Santino Tejas, and I am your host for this podcast. A couple of things I'm excited about today is that I'm actually recording this podcast session on video for my YouTube channel. What I'm hoping to do is reach multiple people in my audience, both friends, podcast-wise and on my channel. And so if you get a chance, you can check out That Mad Guy, look for the statue of Asclepius, and you will have found me. So thank you again for coming back and sticking around as well. I also purchased the appropriate podcast recording equipment. So my first episode didn't come across as audio fantastic as I thought it would. So hopefully this is coming across a lot better to everybody. If you have any comments or recommendations, go ahead and send me a voicemail, and be happy to read them. So today I wanted to talk about a quick topic, something that we all are searching for, whether it be in life or whether it be profession-wise, and that is the topic of motivation. And how am I relating this to the field of medical assistant? Well, let me tell you. So in my course of the day at work, I come into contact with, obviously, multiple patients. And sometimes they're students, and sometimes they're retired, sometimes, they're currently employed. But it's interesting, when you talk and you get to know these people, you tend to find out that a lot of them are still looking for motivation in life. A lot of them are still looking for something that's meaningful, or a lot of them are looking for something to cut down on that stress in life, right? Something that they enjoy, something that they don't feel like they're just punching in and punching out. And at the same time, they feel stumped, lost, or hit a roadblock as to, they can't find the motivation. They just don't know what it is that they want to do or where to go. So this is what I've come up with. Motivation, right? Motivation, if you think about it, what does it mean to you? It means the will to get up and to do something, the will to get up in the morning, make your breakfast, take your shower, go to work, get your kid dressed, feed your kid. That's all motivation. Okay. So what about motivation in life? So one example I use is motivation to become a medical assistant. So you want to take on a new career path, you want to try something new, or if you're out of high school, you want to get a good job, and in today's market, we're seeing, unfortunately, a lot of college graduates of bachelor's or PhDs not able to find jobs in their choice of education, causing debt and not being able to pay because they can't find a good paying job. So they end up going back to vocational studies. So whatever the reason may be, when you look to something to take on, to start, to try new, to try and find meaning, there's a lack of confidence, I think, initially, because if it's something new, obviously you don't know how to do it, you don't know what it entails. So you might start some research, you might start looking into it, you might talk to people about it and try and get more information. But still, where is the motivation from? So let's say you talk to somebody, you read a pamphlet, you see something on TV, and you find something that sounds good. Okay, well, will you get up off the couch and make that phone call? Will you actually walk into that vocational program office or your community college and inquire about it? Well, where's that motivation? Unfortunately, in my opinion, motivation has been very, very, very underrated and not taken to serious sorts. And let me explain why. So, when you look for motivation, you're looking for motivation due to a lack of confidence, lack of experience, and lack of the motivation itself. Well, I'm not experienced in medical assisting, or I'm not experienced in nursing, or I don't think I have what it takes, or I don't like blood. You find reasons not to take on any new detail in life. But you have to understand something. Without starting somewhere, you don't build that confidence. Without starting somewhere, you don't build that knowledge base. Because we have to admit, knowledge does create confidence. Being able to perform skills instills confidence in you. So you have to, initially find that push to want to even do that, right? And I call that the "you've got to put the work into it" clause. You've got to put the work into it. Okay? So, we are creatures of habit. We get stuck in ruts that become routines, which become our habit. I recently watched a special on Netflix, the Creative Brain. I recommend that you all watch it. And, basically what I learned from it is, and what you might agree with as well, is that the brain is made to take the path of least resistance. Meaning what? Meaning, you're going to do what you know best. Like, for example, I get up, I make the same breakfast every morning, I shower at the same time, I leave the house at the same time, take my daughter to school, get to work at the same time, clock in at the same time, perform this. So that's the path of least resistance, because we're used to it. We know how to do it. There's nothing new to it, right? And just because over time that I've been in the field 27 years, I've been able to pick up enough knowledge and skill that I can do my job effectively and very confidently, So how do you break that routine? How do you break that? Again, you got to look for that confidence, that motivation. And again, it's about putting the work into it. You've got to make that decision to put the work into it. You've got to make that decision to give yourself that initial push, because if you can give yourself that initial push, you can get there. You can do it, but you have to sit there and really think, can I do this? I'm going to try it. And you'll surprise yourself. If you find something that, it's something you really like, you'll go on and you'll become more experienced and more skillful, and you'll develop more confidence. If it's something you figure that you don't like, that you don't find pleasure, or you see yourself doing long term, then you give it up and you move on to the next thing. So, as I said, we're creatures of habit. We take the path of least resistance. And that's just how we are. That is not a character flaw. It's a default, I mean, we can't logically go through life every day trying something new, can we? No, that's very tiring. It doesn't make sense. The mental capacity might be there, but is the emotional capacity there? Who knows? There are people out there that take on many facets of the world and they're very successful at it. Well, that's not for everybody, and that's okay. And that's okay to feel like, well, maybe I'm not catching on to it. And that's okay to feel that way. But remember, you've got to push and keep going. You've got to look for that confidence. You've got to look for that motivation. And you can do it. Now, another point is, I believe that motivation is very misrepresented in society these days, So, when, let's say, someone wants to look for motivation or look to better themselves, what do a lot of people look for? Well, they look for motivational videos, motivational presentations to attend at the local seminar hall. They listen to speeches, on podcasts, or they'll read a self-help book. But what this fails to tell you is that these are very general basis for motivation. Unfortunately, people go to these seminars, listen to these speeches, listen to these presentations, thinking, well, if I listen to a real estate agent who's very successful in making money, obviously, I see him on TV, and he says, I can make you a successful real estate realtor in 90 days. Come and join my initial free consultation, my initial free presentation, and then go on with my program. Pay another $999.99, and I guarantee you're going to be successful. Well, yeah, you can be successful if you put the work into it, but also if you have an interest in that field. If you don't have an interest in real estate, then you're not going to have that push or motivation to push it or become successful in it. No, you have to find something that is targeted to your liking. Another example, let's say somebody's giving a presentation and becoming a workshop professional. Wow, that's great. I've always wanted to be able to work with my hands. I've always wanted to be able to use tools. I've always wanted to know what type of wood to buy and create beautiful furniture. Does that mean that your interest in that makes you a great woodworker? No. You might go to a presentation, listen to the details, and figure, well, I still have an interest in it because it's a skill I'd like to have, but do I really think that I can do it? So you can push and push and push yourself, and next thing I just don't have the interest in it. So whenever you read these self-help publications, watch these presentations, attend these presentations, watch these videos, be very, very careful who the speaker is, what their intended audience is, and what it is they're looking to pass off. Because if I'm the real estate guru and I want to make you successful, more than likely somehow when you put the work into it, you're still connected into my, group there, and somehow I might just profit off of you too, kind of like the whole Herbalife Mary Kay thing. Well, anyways, that's my opinion. You got to be very careful with who the intended audience is. So remember, when you listen to these speeches, when you attend these presentations, when you read these self-help books, take them at the very basic level. Okay? Take them to mean that yes, you can do, and these are the tools, and these are the experiences, but find something that you're interested in. Don't just go off and try something that someone else is good at because they're successful. More than likely, you won't be successful because that's not your interest. And they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that because they want attendance in masses, they want attendance in great numbers. And yeah, they're successful because they found their niche. They found their interest in life and in profession. So they're able to do that. They're able to talk about their experiences and their income because they're used to it, because that's what they do. That's what they're good at doing. But it doesn't mean that that's what you're good at doing. Now, let's turn it around, like me. I became a medical assistant, Someone came to a class and said, hey, you know what? Medical assistant is a great career. Learn skills, learn life-saving skills, learn lifelong skills. I went into an open house, listened to more speeches, and watched some videos and some more, PowerPoints, and I was still interested. And then I start the class, and I'm liking the skills and liking the skills and liking the skills. And eventually I made it through the class, learned the skills, went on externship. I was very successful. 27 years later, I'm still doing the same thing because I found my niche. I found what's important to me. And you've got to do the same thing. And it's going to take some research. Again, what's my favorite line? You've got to put the work into it. As these things present themselves, they're not just going to fall into your lap and then you're going to say, oh, wow, look, this is for me. No, you've got to put the work into it. You have to get up and put the work into it, okay? So be careful about the misleading presentations and book covers and all that. So just put the work into it, and if you have to try more than one thing, try more than one thing. You're worth it. Your confidence is worth it. Your individuality is worth it. Your happiness is worth it. Your family's trust in you is worth it. Your family's love in you is worth it. Your family, your friends want to see you happy. And if you don't have family and friends around you, then you want to see you happy. You know you do. You feel it. You're tired of being sick. You're tired of being sick and tired. You're tired of being not successful. You're tired of being stuck at that dead-end job. You wish you could be that person that has something meaningful, going on in their life. But again, you have to put the work into it, okay? You have to put the work into it. Now, I'm not creating this podcast or video, to put people down that don't have an interest or might be suffering from depression. Not at all. If anything, this is to help you to better, hopefully lift you, to better help you understand that, you can do anything in life. Anybody can do anything. And that's true. You can do anything in life that you put your mind to it. That is true. My daughter, who's 5, I tell her, you can do anything you can put your mind to. And so all I have to do is buy her a box of chalk, let her go to her chalkboard, and she draws me a heart. Because she says, I can draw a heart. Now, at 5 years old, drawing a heart and coloring it in, that's spectacular. That's built a confidence that she can do something that she has said. She was provided the tools. She went and she did what she liked to do. Same thing here. We have to get up, look for those tools, take that initial step, and I promise you, when you find something you like and you go forward with it step by step, little by little, you're going to increase your confidence. You increase your knowledge base. And when you do that, you feel you feel more you feel more confident, you know. And it's a step-by-step process. Another recommendation: start with small goals. You know, I am at fault for wanting to at times start at the top and and stay at the top. Sometimes I don't want to start at the bottom and work my up to the top. But I have to remember, I have to learn basics. I have to learn from, ground up. And that's anybody in any situation. But remember, you're worth it. You're worth the confidence. You're worth the patience. You're worth the new skill. You're worth the value. You just need to go out there and find what it is that you might be good at. And again, you have to, if it takes more than one try at the same thing until you get it right, fine. If it means taking a chance or taking a chance on multiple topics, go for it. If anything, you've taken up your time and you've learned some new skill sets along the way, and that alone itself will increase your confidence. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, don't go gamble at different casinos. Well, that's not a confidence builder. That's just an addiction. That's a problem. But let's say one day you want to try woodworking and you don't find it works, or let's say the next day you want to try automotive and that doesn't work. The next day you want to try author, writing books, or you want to try a podcast, but you find that you're not that dedicated to it. That's fine. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you can say, wow, I tried 30 things. I haven't found what I'm good at yet, but you know what? I know a little bit about all of these things put together. And you know what? I'm that much smarter and I'm that much more confident. That means that I can go forward and I can put my head to it and learn something new. Okay? And I can learn something new. So, again, this is not intended to belittle those that are dealing with any condition or that might lack personal direction. It's hopefully this just makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so please go out there, go outside, smell the fresh air. Go to your local community college, go to your local community center. Just look for what might be available out there. Try and pick up a new skill. But the thing, like I said, what is the most important thing that I said is you've got to put the work into it. You've got to put the work into it. Getting up in the morning is work. Taking on a new task is work. Me taking my kid to school is work. But it's what I enjoy. I enjoy being a father, so I love it. You've got to put the work into it, okay? So again, I hope this helps a little bit, makes sense. If you have any recommendations or comments or any questions that you'd like me to cover on the next podcast, please send me a voice message and I'll be happy to read it and talk about it, okay? All right, well, again, this is Santino Ortez for All Things Medical Assistant, and see you at the next podcast.